The CEO's Guide to Building Real Financial Security. Part 1. Written and published by Mindset Masters Audiobooks. Financial security is the cornerstone of true freedom, and for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and high-performing professionals, building real financial security goes far beyond simply earning a high income. The CEO's Guide to Building Real Financial Security is designed to transform the way you think about money, risk, and wealth accumulation. In this audiobook, we will explore actionable strategies, mindset shifts, and proven principles that empower leaders to create lasting financial stability, growth, and freedom. Understanding real financial security. Many leaders confuse income with security. A six-figure salary, bonus structure, or successful business does not automatically equate to financial stability. True financial security is predictable, resilient, and independent of external fluctuations. It is wealth that continues to work for you even when markets shift, businesses slow, or unexpected life events occur. Key components of financial security include predictable cash flow. Understanding your recurring income streams and creating systems to ensure consistent inflows even when one source is disrupted. Wealth protection. Safeguarding assets through insurance, legal structures, and risk mitigation strategies. Debt management. Distinguishing between strategic, productive debt and harmful, high-interest debt that undermines stability. Investment growth. Deploying surplus capital intelligently across diversified assets to build long-term wealth. Mindset and discipline. Cultivating habits, patience, and decision-making frameworks that align with long-term financial goals rather than short-term gratification. The CEO mindset and money. CEOs and top leaders approach money differently than most. Their financial decisions are not reactive but strategically proactive. Developing a CEO mindset toward money requires focusing on long-term planning. CEOs think decades ahead, anticipating market changes, business cycles, and personal financial milestones. Risk assessment. Every financial move is measured against potential returns, consequences, and alignment with broader goals. Strategic delegation. Successful leaders know when to manage finances personally and when to delegate to trusted advisors, ensuring decisions are informed and efficient. Multiple income streams. CEOs avoid relying solely on one source of income. Business revenue, investments, and strategic partnerships all contribute to diversified wealth. This mindset ensures that your financial growth is not dependent on luck, singular opportunities, or transient trends. The pillars of real financial security. This audiobook is structured around 12 essential pillars, each explored in detail to create a complete framework for financial security. These pillars are strategic income management and predictability, personal and business risk management, intelligent debt utilization, investment diversification and growth, budgeting and disciplined spending, emergency funds and liquidity planning, tax efficiency and legal structures, wealth mindset and leadership alignment, business and personal alignment for wealth, succession and long-term planning, legacy and intergenerational wealth, integration of all pillars into a sustainable system. Each pillar builds on the previous, creating a comprehensive system that ensures wealth is preserved, grows, and supports your freedom and lifestyle. The importance of strategic income management. Before wealth can be preserved or grown, income must be managed effectively. CEOs understand the value of predictable revenue streams. Income management involves identifying primary and secondary sources. Salary, business profits, dividends, royalties, and passive income should be clearly categorized. Allocating funds strategically. Every dollar should have a purpose: investment, savings, business growth, or lifestyle. Monitoring cash flow. Continuous monitoring ensures that income aligns with projections and can absorb unexpected expenses or downturns. Automation and systems. Automating savings, investments, and recurring payments minimizes human error and enforces discipline. Case study. Income management in action. Consider two CEOs, David and Sophia. David earns a high salary but has no systems in place. Income fluctuates, spending is inconsistent, and investments are reactive. Unexpected expenses disrupt his stability, and he feels constantly behind despite high earnings. Sophia, earning a similar salary, implements a strategic cash flow system. She automates investments, creates secondary income streams, and tracks every dollar with precision. Even during market fluctuations, She maintains financial predictability and continues building wealth steadily. Sophia's approach demonstrates that predictable income is not about how much you earn but how effectively you manage and allocate it. Practical steps to begin. Track all sources of income and categorize them clearly. Automate savings, investments, and recurring payments. Separate personal and business finances to maintain clarity. Set monthly, quarterly, and annual income targets with contingencies for unexpected changes. Review cash flow weekly to identify trends, gaps, and opportunities. Key takeaways. True financial security is predictable, resilient, and independent of temporary circumstances. CEOs approach income proactively, thinking long-term and strategically. Managing income effectively lays the foundation for all other pillars of wealth. Systems, automation, and disciplined allocation are essential for stability. By mastering income management, you begin your journey toward real financial security, creating the foundation upon which wealth, freedom, and long-term stability can be built. Part 2. The second pillar of building real financial security is personal and business risk management. Income management provides the foundation, but without protecting what you earn and own, your financial stability remains fragile. CEOs and high-level leaders understand that true security comes from anticipating risks, mitigating vulnerabilities, and creating systems that allow wealth to endure even during unexpected challenges. Understanding risk. Risk is an inherent part of life and business. While risk cannot be entirely eliminated, it can be strategically managed. The wealthy approach risk differently than most. They assess it, quantify it, and implement strategies to reduce its impact without stifling growth. Types of risk include market risk. Investments, stock markets, and business ventures are subject to fluctuations. Diversification, research, and strategic allocation reduce exposure to market volatility. Operational risk. For business owners, risks in processes, staffing, and systems can disrupt cash flow or productivity. Streamlined operations, clear SOPs, and contingency planning mitigate operational risks. Personal risk. Health issues, accidents, or unforeseen life events can derail income and create financial strain. Insurance, emergency funds, and health planning are essential safeguards. Legal and compliance risk. Regulatory fines, lawsuits, or contractual disputes can damage both personal and business finances. Proper legal counsel, compliance protocols, and risk audits prevent costly setbacks. Liquidity risk. Inability to access funds when needed can jeopardize opportunities or create emergencies. Maintaining accessible reserves ensures flexibility and stability. The CEO approach to risk. CEOs view risk as both a threat and an opportunity. Proper risk management allows them to act decisively, seize opportunities, and safeguard wealth simultaneously. Key elements of the CEO approach include risk assessment. Every financial decision, investment, business expansion, or strategic partnership is evaluated for potential downside and upside. Contingency planning. Plans are created for worst-case scenarios, ensuring operations and lifestyle are protected during unforeseen events. Insurance and protection. Health, liability, life, disability, and business insurance act as a buffer against unexpected financial burdens. Diversification. Spreading investments across asset classes, industries, and geographies reduces the impact of individual failures or market disruptions. Legal safeguards. Proper contracts, legal entities, and compliance measures protect personal and business assets from liability and regulatory challenges. Case study. Risk management in action. Consider two entrepreneurs, Alex and Priya. Alex focuses solely on revenue growth. He invests heavily in a single business venture, neglects insurance, and has no contingency plans. When the market shifts and an unexpected legal issue arises, Alex faces severe financial strain, threatening both personal and business security. Priya, equally ambitious, implements robust risk management. She diversifies her business holdings, maintains comprehensive insurance, builds a liquidity reserve, and ensures all legal and compliance obligations are up to date. When market fluctuations and a minor legal dispute occur, Priya navigates these challenges without disruption, preserving her financial stability and long-term growth. Priya's strategy highlights that risk management is not about avoiding risk entirely but controlling it strategically to protect wealth while allowing growth. Practical steps for CEOs to manage risk. Conduct a thorough assessment of all personal and business risks. Obtain comprehensive insurance policies to cover health, liability, disability, and business risks. Build an emergency fund capable of covering at least 6 to 12 months of essential expenses. Diversify investments and business ventures to minimize exposure to single points of failure. Implement robust legal structures for businesses, contracts, and asset protection. Develop contingency plans for critical scenarios, including market downturns or personal emergencies. Regularly review and update risk management strategies to adapt to evolving circumstances. Mindset for risk management. The wealthy adopt a proactive, disciplined mindset regarding risk. Anticipation over reaction. By predicting and preparing for risks, CEOs prevent crises from destabilizing their wealth. Strategic courage. Taking calculated risks with proper mitigation enables growth without reckless exposure. Resilience. Understanding that setbacks may occur, but well-prepared systems ensure recovery and continuity. Long-term perspective. Temporary losses or disruptions are weighed against decades of growth potential. Decisions prioritize sustained wealth over short-term gains. Key takeaways. Risk management is the second pillar of real financial security for CEOs. Risks are inevitable but can be mitigated with planning, diversification, and protective measures. CEOs view risk strategically, balancing protection and growth simultaneously. Personal, business, market, legal, and liquidity risks must all be addressed. Proper risk management ensures that income, investments, and assets remain secure under various circumstances. By mastering risk management, you fortify the foundation of your financial security, ensuring that all efforts to grow wealth are protected from unforeseen challenges. This pillar empowers you to pursue opportunities boldly, knowing that your assets, income, and long-term stability are safeguarded. Part 3. The third pillar of real financial security for CEOs is intelligent debt utilization and leverage. While many view debt as a threat or a liability, the wealthy understand that debt, when used strategically, becomes a tool for growth, investment, and long-term financial security. Intelligent leverage enables high performers to expand their opportunities, accelerate wealth building, and maximize returns, without falling into financial traps. Understanding debt. The two types. Debt is not inherently negative. The key distinction lies between productive debt and destructive debt. Productive debt. Debt used to generate income, acquire appreciating assets, or finance scalable business opportunities. Examples include business loans for expansion, mortgages on investment properties, or leveraged investments that produce cash flow exceeding interest costs. Productive debt multiplies wealth when managed correctly. Destructive debt. High-interest consumer debt or loans for depreciating assets that drain financial resources. Examples include credit card debt, personal loans for luxury consumption, or financing lifestyle beyond means. Destructive debt erodes wealth and undermines long-term financial security. Understanding this distinction is crucial for CEOs, as the same financial tools can either amplify wealth or accelerate loss, depending on strategy and discipline. The CEO approach to debt. CEOs leverage debt with intention, control, and foresight. Their approach includes analyzing ROI before borrowing. Every borrowed dollar must have a measurable return. Will the debt generate income, increase asset value, or create strategic advantage? Maintaining low-risk exposure. Leverage is used conservatively relative to cash flow and asset backing, ensuring financial stability even during market fluctuations. Structured repayment plans. Strategic debt management ensures timely repayment and predictable cash flow while maintaining flexibility for future opportunities. Diversification of leverage. Using multiple avenues of productive debt across investments and business ventures reduces dependency on a single source and mitigates risk. Regular monitoring. CEOs track debt utilization continuously, adjusting strategies based on performance, market conditions, and financial goals. Case study. Leveraging debt for growth. Consider two CEOs, Ethan and Maria. Ethan avoided debt entirely, funding all business expansion and investments from savings. While this limited his risk, it also slowed growth. Opportunities requiring capital were missed, and his wealth trajectory was steady but conservative. Maria strategically used debt to expand her business and invest in cash flow generating real estate. By calculating returns, maintaining low-risk leverage ratios, and prioritizing repayment schedules, Maria accelerated wealth accumulation while protecting her financial security. Market shifts and minor setbacks did not destabilize her because her leverage was structured, controlled, and purposeful. Maria's success demonstrates that debt is a tool, and disciplined utilization allows growth that would be unattainable using personal capital alone. Practical steps for intelligent debt utilization. Assess purpose and ROI. Borrow only for ventures or assets with predictable returns exceeding the cost of debt. Keep interest costs manageable. Maintain leverage ratios that ensure cash flow covers interest and principal comfortably. Prioritize asset-backed debt. Secure borrowing against appreciating or income-generating assets rather than personal consumption. Diversify debt across opportunities. Avoid concentrating all leverage on a single investment or business line. Maintain discipline in repayment. Implement strict schedules and automated systems to prevent late payments or interest accumulation. Regularly review leverage strategy. Evaluate whether each debt instrument continues to serve its purpose and adjust as necessary. Mindset for debt management. The wealthy adopt a disciplined mindset toward borrowing. Strategic utilization. Treat debt as a tool, not a crutch. Only borrow to create value or generate income. Calculated risk. Every debt decision considers potential downside, worst-case scenarios, and cash flow implications. Patience and discipline. Avoid the temptation to over-leverage for immediate gratification. Long-term growth and security are the priority. Adaptability. Adjust leverage strategy as markets, interest rates, and personal financial conditions evolve. Integrating debt with other financial pillars. Debt management is most effective when integrated with other pillars of financial security. Income management. Ensure cash flow supports debt service without compromising other obligations. Risk mitigation. Protect assets and investments financed through debt with insurance and legal safeguards. Investment diversification. Spread leverage across multiple opportunities to reduce exposure and maximize returns. Mindset alignment. Keep focus on long-term goals and disciplined growth rather than short-term consumption. Key takeaways. Debt is not inherently bad. It is a tool that can accelerate wealth when used intelligently. Productive debt generates returns and multiplies wealth, while destructive debt undermines financial security. CEOs leverage debt strategically, managing risk, repayment, and cash flow. Integration with income, risk, and investment strategies maximizes the effectiveness of leverage. Discipline, patience, and strategic foresight are essential for long-term financial growth using debt. By mastering intelligent debt utilization, CEOs unlock additional capital for growth, accelerate wealth-building trajectories, and strengthen financial security. Debt becomes a strategic instrument, amplifying results without compromising stability. Part 4. The fourth pillar of real financial security is investment diversification and growth. While disciplined income management, risk mitigation, and intelligent debt utilization provide a strong foundation, real financial security is achieved by putting money to work in ways that generate long-term growth while minimizing exposure to risk. For CEOs and high-performing leaders, diversification is not just a strategy. It is a philosophy that ensures resilience, opportunity, and consistent wealth expansion. Why diversification matters. Many individuals make the mistake of concentrating wealth in a single investment, asset, or business. This approach exposes them to unnecessary risk. Even high-income earners or successful business owners can lose substantial wealth if they fail to diversify. Diversification achieves three critical objectives. Risk reduction. Spreading capital across multiple asset classes, industries, and geographies ensures that the underperformance of one area does not derail overall wealth. Opportunity maximization. Diversification allows participation in various growth opportunities, from traditional equities to alternative assets, enhancing overall returns. Stability and predictability. A well-diversified portfolio smooths volatility, enabling consistent wealth growth even during economic downturns or market disruptions. For CEOs, diversification is a strategic imperative. It is not merely about having multiple investments. It is about constructing a portfolio that aligns with cash flow, risk tolerance, and long-term objectives. The CEO approach to investment growth. CEOs treat investments as engineered tools for financial security and expansion. Their approach emphasizes strategic asset allocation, balancing between equities, fixed income, real estate, alternative assets, and business ventures according to risk tolerance and goals. Geographical diversification. Investing in multiple regions to mitigate localized economic risks and capture global growth trends. Time horizon alignment. Aligning investments with short-dash, medium-dash, and long-term objectives ensures liquidity when needed and growth where possible. Active and passive approaches. Combining hands-on investments, like business ownership, with passive vehicles, such as index funds or ETFs, creates both control and stability. Regular portfolio review. Continuous assessment of asset performance, market trends, and personal goals ensures the portfolio remains aligned and optimized. Case study. Diversification in action. Consider two executives, Ryan and Olivia. Ryan invested exclusively in a single tech startup that seemed promising. While initial returns were impressive, market volatility and unforeseen competition caused losses. His lack of diversification left him vulnerable to significant setbacks. Olivia, on the other hand, diversified across several tech startups, real estate holdings, international equities, and fixed income assets. When one venture underperformed, her other investments maintained growth. Olivia's portfolio generated consistent returns and protected her wealth, demonstrating the power of strategic diversification. Olivia's approach illustrates that diversification is both insurance and growth strategy. It allows wealth to compound steadily while mitigating risk exposure. Principles for effective diversification. Spread across asset classes. Include equities, bonds, real estate, commodities, alternative investments, and cash reserves. Each asset class reacts differently to market forces, reducing overall portfolio volatility. Diversify within asset classes. Avoid overconcentration in a single sector, industry, or company. For example, in equities, invest in multiple sectors and geographies. Balance risk and reward. Maintain a mix of high growth and stable assets. Aggressive investments should be balanced with low-risk instruments to stabilize wealth accumulation. Leverage alternative investments. Consider private equity, venture capital, or strategic partnerships that offer returns uncorrelated to traditional markets. Review and rebalance regularly. Markets shift, and priorities change. Adjust allocations to maintain balance and seize new opportunities without compromising risk tolerance. Monitor liquidity. Ensure a portion of the portfolio is accessible for emergencies or strategic opportunities without incurring penalties or losses. Mindset for investment growth. CEOs approach investing with a long-term, disciplined mindset. Patience over impulsivity. Wealth growth is gradual. Avoid chasing trends or reacting to short-term volatility. Strategic analysis. Every investment is evaluated for risk, potential returns, and alignment with overall objectives. Flexibility and adaptability. Markets evolve. Successful investors adjust strategies while maintaining core principles. Integration with financial pillars. Investments are not isolated. They integrate with income, debt, and risk management strategies to create a holistic wealth-building system. Practical steps to build a diversified investment portfolio. Identify financial goals and time horizons for each objective. Determine risk tolerance and capacity for volatility. Allocate capital across multiple asset classes and geographies. Include both active and passive investments to balance control and stability. Continuously monitor and rebalance based on performance and market trends. Use alternative investments strategically to diversify beyond traditional markets. Maintain liquidity for emergencies and opportunistic investments. Key takeaways. Investment diversification is the fourth pillar of real financial security for CEOs. A well-structured portfolio reduces risk, maximizes opportunity, and ensures predictable growth. CEOs use strategic asset allocation, global diversification, and a mix of active and passive investments to build resilience. Regular monitoring, disciplined patience, and integration with other financial pillars ensure sustainable wealth growth. Diversification transforms capital into a predictable engine of wealth, supporting both short-term stability and long-term prosperity. By mastering diversification and investment growth, CEOs ensure that their wealth is not only preserved but actively expands, creating a robust foundation for real financial security. Diversification allows leaders to sleep peacefully at night, knowing that their assets are working intelligently, strategically, and safely across multiple channels of opportunity. Part 5. The fifth pillar of real financial security is budgeting, disciplined spending, and controlling lifestyle inflation. For CEOs, executives, and high-performing professionals, Income and investment growth are essential, but without disciplined control over spending, wealth can quickly dissipate. Financial security is not solely about how much you earn. It is about how effectively you manage, allocate, and preserve your resources. The importance of budgeting. Budgeting is often misunderstood as a restrictive practice for those with limited income. For wealthy CEOs, budgeting is strategic allocation, a tool to ensure resources are used efficiently, investments are prioritized, and financial goals are systematically achieved. A comprehensive budget provides clarity, foresight, and freedom. Key purposes of budgeting include tracking cash flow. Understanding where money comes from and where it goes provides control over finances and highlights opportunities for optimization. Aligning spending with goals. Every dollar should have a purpose, whether it contributes to investments, debt repayment, business growth, or personal development. Preventing lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending naturally tends to rise. Budgeting ensures that lifestyle growth does not outpace wealth accumulation. Enforcing discipline. Structured budgets encourage consistency and eliminate impulsive spending that can undermine long-term security. Enabling strategic flexibility. A clear budget allows room for opportunistic investments or unexpected expenses without disrupting financial stability. Controlling lifestyle inflation. One of the greatest threats to long-term wealth is lifestyle inflation, the tendency to increase spending as income rises. Even high earners can struggle financially if their lifestyle grows faster than their investments. CEOs and successful entrepreneurs manage lifestyle inflation by prioritizing wealth building. Investments and savings come first. Discretionary spending is limited to what does not compromise growth. Maintaining a simple, purposeful lifestyle. Luxury and comfort are integrated thoughtfully rather than reflexively, ensuring that lifestyle choices align with broader goals. Tracking expenses continuously. Monitoring spending patterns prevents unconscious drift toward unnecessary consumption. Setting spending limits. Fixed thresholds for discretionary spending create boundaries without sacrificing quality of life. By controlling lifestyle inflation, you maximize the proportion of income that can be reinvested, creating a compounding effect that accelerates wealth and builds real financial security. The CEO mindset toward spending. CEOs view money as a strategic tool, not a source of immediate gratification. Key principles include delayed gratification. High-impact financial decisions prioritize long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Purposeful allocation. Every expense is evaluated for its contribution to personal, professional, or financial goals. Flexibility without excess. Budgeting allows for discretionary spending without compromising wealth-building priorities. Data-driven decisions. Spending decisions are informed by tracking, analysis, and strategic planning rather than emotion. This mindset ensures that CEOs enjoy the rewards of success while keeping their financial security intact. Case study: budgeting and lifestyle control. Consider two executives, Liam and Jenna. Liam earns a high salary and receives significant business bonuses. Over time, his spending expands: luxury cars, extravagant vacations, and a high-maintenance lifestyle. Despite high earnings, Liam finds himself living paycheck to paycheck relative to his income. His investments remain minimal, and his long-term financial security is compromised. Jenna, earning a comparable income, implements a disciplined budgeting strategy. She allocates a defined percentage of income toward investments, debt repayment, and business growth. Her lifestyle choices are deliberate and sustainable. As her income rises, she maintains a consistent percentage for savings and investments, allowing her wealth to compound. Jenna's approach illustrates that financial freedom is not only about income but disciplined allocation, controlled spending, and resisting lifestyle inflation. Practical steps for budgeting and discipline. Create a comprehensive budget. Track all income streams and categorize all expenses: fixed, variable, and discretionary. Prioritize wealth building. Allocate funds first to investments, debt repayment, emergency savings, and business growth. Set spending limits. Establish clear thresholds for discretionary spending and stick to them. Monitor monthly and quarterly. Regularly review cash flow and adjust allocations as necessary. Use automated systems. Automate savings, investment contributions, and bill payments to enforce discipline. Avoid unnecessary lifestyle inflation. Resist the urge to upgrade lifestyle proportionally with income increases unless aligned with long-term financial goals. Continuously educate yourself. Learn about financial management, personal finance strategies, and investment principles to make informed spending decisions. Key takeaways. Budgeting, disciplined spending, and lifestyle control are the fifth pillar of real financial security for CEOs. Financial security is not about how much you earn but how effectively you allocate and preserve your resources. Lifestyle inflation is a common pitfall. Maintaining consistent investment and savings rates ensures long-term growth. Strategic budgeting creates clarity, foresight, and freedom, allowing for both disciplined wealth accumulation and purposeful enjoyment. CEOs integrate spending discipline with income, investment, and risk management to build a sustainable, secure financial foundation. By mastering this pillar, you ensure that every dollar works toward your long-term financial security, transforming income into sustainable wealth. With a disciplined approach to spending, budgeting, and lifestyle management, financial freedom becomes not just possible but inevitable. Part 6. The sixth pillar of real financial security is emergency funds and liquidity planning. While budgeting, disciplined spending, and investments provide a strong foundation, financial security demands the ability to respond to unexpected events without jeopardizing wealth or long-term plans. CEOs and high-performing leaders understand that liquidity, the ability to access cash or cash-equivalent assets quickly, is as crucial as income, investments, and risk management. Understanding emergency funds. An emergency fund is a reserve of liquid assets set aside to cover unexpected expenses, disruptions, or opportunities. Unlike long-term investments, which may fluctuate in value, emergency funds provide immediate access to resources, ensuring stability during uncertainty. Key purposes of emergency funds include protection against life events. Health emergencies, family obligations, or personal crises can arise without warning. A well-funded emergency reserve prevents these situations from derailing financial security. Business continuity. For CEOs, unexpected operational challenges, market shifts, or short-term cash flow interruptions can threaten business stability. Liquidity allows for timely action without compromising other financial commitments. Investment opportunities. Quick access to capital enables CEOs to seize high-return opportunities when they arise, rather than missing out due to insufficient liquidity. Psychological security. Knowing that funds are available for emergencies reduces stress, promotes confidence, and allows for disciplined decision-making even in volatile conditions. Liquidity planning for CEOs. Liquidity planning is the strategic management of cash and near-cash assets to ensure financial flexibility and resilience. High-net-worth individuals and CEOs approach liquidity differently than average earners. Key principles include: establish a minimum reserve. Most experts recommend a minimum of 6 to 12 months of essential expenses in highly liquid accounts. CEOs may require more, depending on business volatility and personal responsibilities. Diversify liquid assets. Include cash, high-yield savings accounts, money market funds, and short-term government bonds. These instruments combine accessibility with minimal risk. Separate operational and personal reserves. Business cash flow should be distinct from personal emergency funds, preventing unnecessary financial strain on either side. Regularly reassess needs. Life circumstances, business size, and economic conditions change. Reserves should be adjusted accordingly to maintain appropriate levels of liquidity. Plan for opportunity capital. Beyond emergencies, maintain a reserve specifically for strategic investments, acquisitions, or market opportunities that require quick funding. Case study: emergency funds in action. Consider two CEOs, Michael and Sophia. Michael experienced a sudden business downturn. He had no emergency reserve and relied solely on operational revenue to cover expenses. Forced to sell assets at a loss and take high-interest loans, Michael's financial security was compromised, and growth stalled for years. Sophia maintained both personal and business emergency funds, totaling 12 months of operational and personal expenses in liquid, accessible accounts. When faced with a similar downturn, she navigated the challenges seamlessly, covering obligations without selling assets or incurring debt. Additionally, she was able to invest in undervalued opportunities during the market shift, accelerating long-term growth. Sophia's foresight demonstrates that liquidity is not a luxury but a critical safeguard and strategic advantage. Practical steps for emergency funds and liquidity. Calculate your essential monthly expenses for both personal and business needs. Establish a reserve covering at least 6 to 12 months of these expenses in liquid assets. Diversify liquid reserves across multiple instruments for safety and accessibility. Separate personal and business reserves to maintain clarity and operational security. Review liquidity requirements quarterly to adapt to changing income, expenses, and market conditions. Allocate additional reserves for strategic opportunities or investments requiring rapid action. Avoid using emergency funds for discretionary spending to maintain the integrity of the reserve. Mindset for liquidity. CEOs adopt a proactive, disciplined mindset toward liquidity. Preparedness over complacency. Financial security is strengthened by anticipating potential disruptions rather than reacting when crises occur. Opportunity-oriented thinking. Adequate liquidity allows CEOs to act decisively when opportunities present themselves, turning challenges into advantages. Balance between growth and accessibility. While long-term investments are essential, liquidity ensures that growth does not come at the expense of immediate stability. Discipline and consistency. Maintaining emergency reserves requires disciplined allocation and avoidance of temptation to repurpose these funds. Key takeaways. Emergency funds and liquidity planning are the sixth pillar of real financial security for CEOs. Liquidity ensures immediate access to resources for emergencies, business continuity, and opportunistic investments. Properly structured reserves prevent crises from derailing wealth and allow for strategic flexibility. Personal and business emergency funds should be maintained separately and regularly reassessed. A disciplined mindset toward liquidity promotes stability, confidence, and long-term growth. By mastering emergency funds and liquidity planning, CEOs secure the flexibility and resilience required to navigate uncertainties, ensuring that income, investments, and assets remain protected under any circumstance. This pillar transforms unpredictability into opportunity, reinforcing financial security at every level. Part 7. The seventh pillar of real financial security is tax efficiency and legal structures. For CEOs, entrepreneurs, and high-income professionals, minimizing unnecessary tax burdens while protecting assets legally is essential for sustaining wealth over the long term. Proper planning in these areas not only increases net income but also safeguards assets from risk, lawsuits, or mismanagement, ensuring that hard-earned wealth remains under your control. Understanding tax efficiency. Tax efficiency is the practice of structuring income, investments, and business activities to reduce tax liability legally and strategically. High earners who ignore this pillar often lose a significant portion of wealth to taxation unnecessarily, slowing the pace of financial growth. Key principles of tax efficiency include maximizing deductions and credits. Understanding allowable business and personal deductions reduces taxable income without altering actual earnings. Leveraging retirement accounts and tax-deferred vehicles. Using retirement plans, pensions, and deferred compensation strategies allows money to grow before taxation. Capital gains planning. Structuring investments for long-term capital gains versus short-term gains can drastically reduce tax burdens. Income splitting and strategic ownership. Allocating income across family members, legal entities, or business structures can lower overall taxes legally. Tax-efficient investments. Choosing assets that generate favorable tax treatment, such as municipal bonds, certain real estate structures, or growth-oriented equities, preserves more of your wealth. Tax efficiency is not about avoidance. It is strategic utilization of the law to maximize retention and reinvestment of wealth. The role of legal structures. Legal structures are equally important in maintaining financial security. They serve to protect personal and business assets, limit liability, and facilitate growth and succession planning. CEOs understand that wealth is vulnerable without proper legal organization. Common legal structures and their benefits include limited liability companies, LLCs. Protects personal assets from business liabilities while providing operational flexibility. Corporations, C Corp and S Corp. Provide tax advantages, liability protection, and structured ownership for scaling businesses. Trusts. Protects assets from litigation, ensures efficient wealth transfer, and can provide tax benefits. Family limited partnerships, FLPs. Useful for intergenerational wealth planning and controlling business succession. Legal contracts and agreements. Comprehensive contracts safeguard ownership, intellectual property, and business partnerships. By combining tax planning with proper legal structures, CEOs maintain maximum control over their wealth, protect it from unnecessary risk, and create flexibility for long-term growth and strategic opportunities. Case study: Tax and legal planning in action. Consider two business owners, Mark and Elena. Mark grows a successful company but pays minimal attention to legal and tax planning. Without proper structures, a minor business dispute escalates into litigation, forcing Mark to liquidate assets to cover legal fees. Additionally, his high income bracket results in substantial tax losses, leaving less capital for reinvestment. Elena, in contrast, implements a combination of LLCs, trusts, and strategic tax planning. When a similar legal challenge arises, her business and personal assets remain protected. Tax-efficient structures allow her to retain more earnings for reinvestment and growth, accelerating wealth accumulation while mitigating risk. Elena's approach illustrates that strategic legal and tax planning turns potential threats into safeguards, preserving and growing wealth over time. Practical steps for CEOs. Assess current tax obligations. Understand your personal and business tax liabilities and identify areas for optimization. Engage experts. Work with accountants, tax advisors, and attorneys specializing in wealth management and corporate structures. Implement appropriate legal structures. Determine which entities, LLCs, corporations, trusts, align with your financial goals and risk profile. Optimize investment structures. Invest through accounts or entities that maximize tax efficiency and minimize exposure to unnecessary taxation. Plan for succession. Create clear ownership and transfer strategies to protect assets in the event of retirement, incapacity, or intergenerational transfer. Monitor and update. Laws and personal circumstances change. Regular reviews ensure continued efficiency and protection. Mindset for tax and legal efficiency. CEOs treat tax and legal planning as essential strategic tools rather than burdens. Proactive thinking. Planning ahead prevents crises and optimizes wealth retention. Integration with financial goals. Legal and tax strategies are aligned with investments, debt management, and income structures. Discipline and compliance. Compliance with regulations ensures sustainability while maximizing benefits. Long-term perspective. Efficient planning today compounds into greater wealth and security over decades. Key takeaways. Tax efficiency and legal structures are the seventh pillar of real financial security for CEOs. Strategic tax planning maximizes retained earnings, enabling greater investment and growth potential. Legal structures protect assets, reduce liability, and facilitate succession planning. Proper planning ensures that wealth is secure, flexible, and aligned with long-term objectives. Integration with other financial pillars amplifies the effectiveness of tax and legal strategies, providing a holistic approach to security and growth. By mastering this pillar, CEOs ensure that wealth is preserved, protected, and optimized, allowing financial security to remain robust through market shifts, legal challenges, and personal milestones. Tax and legal planning is the key to transforming earnings into lasting, generational wealth. Part 8. The eighth pillar of real financial security is wealth mindset and leadership alignment. For CEOs, executives, and high-performing professionals, financial success is not merely a result of income, investments, or strategic planning. True, lasting security comes from cultivating the mental frameworks, habits, and leadership qualities that align with wealth creation and preservation. A strong wealth mindset empowers leaders to make disciplined decisions, manage risk effectively, and sustain growth over decades. Understanding wealth mindset. Wealth mindset is the set of beliefs, attitudes, and habits that shape how a person approaches money, investments, and opportunities. CEOs with a wealth-oriented mindset see money as a tool, not an end goal. They understand that discipline, vision, and consistency are more important than fleeting financial gains or reactive decision-making. Key elements of a wealth mindset include long-term thinking. CEOs prioritize enduring financial growth over short-term gratification. Every decision is evaluated through the lens of decades rather than months. Value creation. Wealth is seen as the natural result of creating value for others, through products, services, ideas, or strategic ventures. Continuous learning. High performers embrace education, mentorship, and self-development to stay ahead in markets, leadership, and personal finance. Embracing risk intelligently. Rather than avoiding risk, a wealth mindset evaluates and manages it strategically to accelerate growth while protecting security. Resilience and adaptability. Setbacks, market fluctuations, and challenges are viewed as opportunities to learn, adjust, and improve. Leadership alignment with financial security. Leadership alignment refers to the integration of personal, professional, and financial objectives. CEOs who align their leadership vision with wealth-building principles create organizations, teams, and systems that amplify their financial security. Key aspects include vision-driven decision-making. Strategic choices are guided by a clear long-term vision, ensuring that every action contributes to wealth creation and preservation. Accountability and discipline. Leaders model fiscal responsibility, operational efficiency, and disciplined execution, which translates into consistent growth and security. Delegation and systems building. CEOs build teams, processes, and systems that allow their businesses and investments to operate efficiently, minimizing reliance on their constant presence. Value-based leadership. Prioritizing integrity, excellence, and strategic thinking ensures that wealth is generated ethically and sustainably, enhancing reputation and long-term opportunity. Networking and mentorship. Surrounding oneself with experienced advisors, mentors, and peers strengthens decision-making and identifies opportunities that may be overlooked individually. Case study. Wealth mindset in action. Consider two business leaders, David and Rachel. David focuses solely on immediate financial results. While profitable in the short term, he makes impulsive decisions, overleverages assets, and fails to invest in personal development or leadership skills. When market challenges arise, David struggles to adapt, and financial setbacks significantly impact his security. Rachel cultivates a wealth mindset and aligns her leadership with long-term objectives. She invests in self-development, mentors her team, prioritizes disciplined growth, and carefully evaluates risks. When the same market challenges occur, Rachel adapts strategically, protects her assets, and leverages opportunities to grow both her business and personal wealth. Rachel's approach demonstrates that mindset and leadership alignment are fundamental to transforming income and investments into sustainable financial security. Practical steps to cultivate a wealth mindset. Adopt long-term thinking. Evaluate decisions based on their impact over years or decades, rather than immediate outcomes. Invest in personal development. Continuously expand knowledge in finance, leadership, and business strategy. Practice disciplined decision-making. Avoid impulsive choices. Analyze risks, rewards, and alignment with long-term goals. Build leadership systems. Implement processes, delegate responsibilities, and develop teams that support sustainable growth. Surround yourself with mentors and experts. Engage advisors, mentors, and peers who offer insight, challenge assumptions, and open opportunities. Integrate values and ethics. Align financial and business decisions with personal and professional integrity for sustainable success. Maintain resilience and adaptability. Prepare mentally and operationally to navigate setbacks, market shifts, and unforeseen challenges. Mindset principles for CEOs. Abundance mentality. View resources, opportunities, and knowledge as abundant, not scarce, enabling strategic collaboration and growth. Ownership and responsibility. Take full accountability for decisions, successes, and failures to drive consistent progress. Vision-led motivation. Align financial strategies with personal and professional vision to create meaning beyond numbers. Continuous reflection and growth. Regularly assess financial and leadership strategies to identify areas for improvement and expansion. Key takeaways. Wealth mindset and leadership alignment are the eighth pillar of real financial security for CEOs. A strong wealth mindset shapes disciplined, strategic, and resilient decision-making. Leadership alignment ensures personal, professional, and financial objectives reinforce one another. Long-term thinking, value creation, risk management, and personal development are core principles. Integration of mindset and leadership with other financial pillars transforms income and investments into enduring security. By mastering this pillar, CEOs develop the mental frameworks and leadership habits that allow them to preserve wealth, seize opportunities, and achieve sustainable financial security. Wealth becomes not just a goal but a reflection of strategic thinking, disciplined action, and purposeful leadership. Part 11. While we have covered the 10 pillars of financial security, Part 11 focuses on integrating these pillars into a cohesive, actionable system. CEOs who build real financial security do not simply implement strategies in isolation. They create an interconnected framework where every pillar reinforces the others. Integration ensures that wealth is not only preserved but grows systematically, efficiently, and sustainably. The power of a cohesive financial system. Many high earners make the mistake of implementing financial strategies independently. They may invest wisely, maintain emergency funds, or develop a strong leadership mindset, but without integration, their efforts often produce fragmented results. A cohesive financial system aligns budgeting and disciplined spending with investments and asset growth, ensuring cash flow supports wealth accumulation. Liquidity planning with risk management, enabling rapid response to emergencies or opportunities without compromising long-term security. Legal structures and tax efficiency with wealth mindset and leadership, optimizing control over assets and strategic decision-making. Philanthropy and legacy planning with financial evolution, balancing giving and generational wealth while maintaining flexibility and adaptability. When these elements operate in concert, financial decisions become strategic, resilient, and growth-oriented rather than reactive or fragmented. Creating an integrated financial map. CEOs often visualize their financial system as a map or blueprint that links each pillar logically. Income and revenue streams. The foundation, representing earned income, business profits, and passive cash flow. Budget and spending discipline. Allocates resources effectively, ensuring essential expenses, discretionary spending, and savings are balanced. Investments and asset growth. Diversifies portfolios to maximize returns while controlling risk. Emergency funds and liquidity. Ensures immediate access to resources during crises or opportunities. Risk management and insurance. Protects assets and income from unexpected events. Legal and tax structures. Safeguards wealth while minimizing liabilities. Wealth mindset and leadership alignment. Shapes disciplined, value-driven, and opportunity-focused decision-making. Philanthropy and legacy planning. Creates lasting impact, generational wealth, and social influence. Continuous review and adaptation. Ensures all elements evolve with changing circumstances and remain optimized. Each pillar interlocks with the others, creating a resilient, adaptive financial ecosystem that supports long-term wealth accumulation, security, and influence. Case study. Integration in action. Consider two CEOs, Marcus and Isabella. Marcus implements the 10 pillars individually but without a clear integration plan. While profitable, his systems sometimes conflict. Liquidity reserves are underutilized, taxes are optimized but not aligned with investments, and philanthropy is uncoordinated. The result is fragmented financial management, occasional missed opportunities, and slower wealth growth. Isabella designs a cohesive financial map. Her income allocation supports investments, emergency funds, and philanthropy simultaneously. Risk management and legal structures are fully integrated, providing maximum protection and tax efficiency. Continuous review ensures a system adapts to changes, and her leadership mindset drives consistent execution. Her wealth grows predictably, opportunities are seized efficiently, and long-term security is reinforced. Isabella's approach demonstrates that integration transforms individual strategies into a powerful, self-reinforcing system. Practical steps to integrate your financial pillars. Document each pillar. Create a detailed overview of all 10 pillars, noting current status, objectives, and action steps. Identify interdependencies. Map how each pillar supports or affects the others, highlighting areas of overlap or conflict. Establish strategic priorities. Determine which pillars require immediate attention, ongoing management, or structural adjustments. Create a financial calendar. Schedule regular reviews, tax planning, investment evaluations, and philanthropy contributions to maintain alignment. Leverage technology. Utilize financial software or dashboards to monitor, track, and optimize all pillars in real time. Engage trusted advisors. Collaborate with accountants, legal experts, investment professionals, and mentors to ensure cohesive implementation. Regularly reassess and adapt. Integrate continuous review into your system, ensuring evolving strategies remain aligned and effective. Mindset for integrated financial security. Holistic thinking. Financial decisions are made with awareness of their impact on all other pillars. Consistency and discipline. Execution is deliberate, reinforcing interconnected systems rather than sporadic action. Adaptability. Integrated systems are flexible, allowing for strategic adjustments without compromising long-term security. Vision-oriented. Integration aligns daily decisions with long-term objectives, ensuring every financial move contributes to wealth, security, and influence. Leadership accountability. CEOs embrace full responsibility for maintaining and optimizing the system, ensuring sustainable success. Key takeaways. Integration is the process of combining the 10 pillars into a cohesive, interconnected financial system. A well-integrated system ensures that budgeting, investments, liquidity, risk management, legal structures, mindset, philanthropy, and adaptation operate synergistically. Integration maximizes efficiency, reduces conflict between strategies, and enhances long-term security. Continuous monitoring and adjustment maintain system resilience and capitalize on opportunities. CEOs who integrate their financial pillars achieve predictable, sustainable growth and multi-generational wealth. By mastering integration, leaders move from disconnected strategies to a self-reinforcing financial ecosystem, creating a foundation where wealth is not only preserved but actively grows, opportunities are consistently leveraged, and security is maintained even in changing environments. Part 12. The 12th and final part of the CEO's Guide to Building Real Financial Security focuses on maintaining wealth and legacy over lifetime. Building financial security is not a one-time achievement. It is a continuous journey of discipline, strategic execution, and evolution. CEOs who master this stage ensure that the systems, habits, and strategies developed across the previous pillars deliver sustainable wealth, personal fulfillment, and a lasting legacy. The philosophy of lifelong wealth management. Financial security at the CEO level is less about accumulating a large net worth and more about creating systems that endure economic shifts, personal changes, and generational transitions. Lifelong wealth management encompasses sustainability, ensuring that income, investments, and assets consistently generate returns while protecting against market volatility. Scalability, expanding wealth opportunities through business growth, strategic investments, and reinvestment of profits. Flexibility, maintaining the ability to adapt to life changes, market trends, and global economic shifts without compromising financial stability. Purpose-driven wealth, ensuring that wealth serves personal goals, family security, societal contributions, and long-term impact. Maintaining systems across pillars. The 10 pillars previously discussed, budgeting, liquidity, investment, risk management, legal structures, tax efficiency, mindset, philanthropy, continuous adaptation, and integration, must operate cohesively and evolve continuously. Key principles for maintaining these systems include regular reviews and updates. Establish quarterly, semi-annual, and annual reviews to ensure alignment with personal, professional, and market changes. Delegation and trusted management. Employ experienced advisors, wealth managers, and legal professionals to implement, monitor, and optimize strategies efficiently. Scenario planning and contingencies. Prepare for unexpected changes such as market crashes, health issues, or geopolitical events with contingency plans that safeguard wealth. Intergenerational education. Teach heirs and successors the principles of wealth, responsibility, and leadership to ensure continuity across generations. Feedback and iteration. Analyze outcomes, refine strategies, and adopt new approaches when necessary to improve efficiency and results. The role of mindset and leadership. Maintaining wealth is as much a mental and leadership challenge as it is a financial one. CEOs must cultivate a mindset of stewardship, resilience, and foresight. Essential traits include discipline, consistent adherence to systems, even when markets are favorable or challenges arise. Vision, seeing beyond immediate financial gains and making decisions with long-term impact in mind. Responsibility, accepting full accountability for the management, growth, and distribution of wealth. Curiosity, staying informed about emerging opportunities, technologies, and market dynamics to continually optimize strategies. Generosity and purpose, aligning financial success with philanthropic endeavors, societal impact, and family legacy enhances fulfillment and influence. Building a multi-generational legacy. A defining aspect of ultimate financial security is ensuring wealth transcends your lifetime. Multi-generational planning transforms wealth from a personal asset into a legacy. Structured trusts and foundations. Protect assets while facilitating strategic distribution and charitable impact. Succession planning. Clearly define leadership, ownership, and management transitions to avoid conflict and preserve value. Family education and mentorship. Teach heirs financial literacy, wealth responsibility, and strategic decision-making skills. Philanthropic impact. Create enduring contributions to society that reflect values, vision, and influence. By focusing on multi-generational security, CEOs transform wealth from a personal resource into a sustainable force for family, business, and society. Continuous learning and adaptation. Even after achieving substantial wealth, lifelong financial security requires a commitment to continuous learning. The most successful CEOs embrace evolving investment strategies, incorporating emerging asset classes, technologies, and global opportunities to grow and protect wealth. Advanced risk management, monitoring political, economic, and environmental factors that may impact portfolios. Innovative tax and legal planning, staying informed about new laws and financial instruments to maintain efficiency and protection. Personal growth and leadership development, enhancing emotional intelligence, decision-making, and strategic thinking to support wealth stewardship. Case study, lifelong wealth in action. Consider two CEOs, Victor and Sophia. Victor built wealth but treated it as static. He maintained investments but rarely updated strategies or planned succession. Over time, inflation, market changes, and poor estate planning eroded the impact of his wealth, leaving heirs unprepared and assets underutilized. Sophia implemented the 10 pillars with integration, continuous review, and long-term vision. She educated her successors, updated strategies regularly, and aligned philanthropy with values. Her wealth grew sustainably, her family was prepared to manage it responsibly, and her legacy created both financial security and societal impact. Sophia's approach illustrates that sustainable wealth is not simply earned, it is actively maintained, evolved, and extended across generations. Practical steps for lifelong wealth management. Establish a financial governance system. Assign roles, processes, and tools to monitor and manage each pillar consistently. Educate successors. Provide heirs with financial education, mentorship, and access to advisors to ensure continuity. Regularly rebalance investments. Maintain diversified portfolios aligned with risk tolerance, goals, and market dynamics. Review legal and tax structures. Ensure trusts, corporate entities, and tax strategies remain optimized and compliant. Integrate philanthropy with legacy goals. Continuously evaluate giving strategies to align with values, impact, and generational plans. Commit to lifelong learning. Stay informed on finance, leadership, markets, and wealth preservation techniques. Adapt to change proactively. Maintain flexibility to respond to personal, market, or societal shifts without jeopardizing security. Mindset for lifelong financial security. Stewardship mentality. Wealth is a responsibility, requiring careful management, growth, and purposeful distribution. Discipline across time. Success is maintained through consistent execution of integrated systems, even as circumstances change. Vision-oriented leadership. Long-term planning drives decisions, ensuring both personal satisfaction and generational impact. Purpose and fulfillment. Wealth is a tool for creating meaningful influence, philanthropic impact, and family security. Resilience and adaptability. Preparedness, flexibility, and proactive planning safeguard wealth against uncertainty. Key takeaways. Lifelong wealth management is the culmination of all 10 pillars, ensuring sustainable security, growth, and legacy. Wealth must be actively maintained, integrated, and adapted to evolving circumstances. Multi-generational planning and philanthropy transform personal wealth into lasting influence and legacy. Continuous learning, disciplined execution, and leadership alignment ensure long-term success. CEOs who master this final stage enjoy financial freedom, enduring impact, and a resilient foundation for future generations. By mastering lifelong wealth management, you complete the framework for CEO-level financial security, turning income and investments into enduring, resilient, and purpose-driven wealth. The ultimate goal is not just financial stability but a legacy of prosperity, influence, and meaningful impact that continues far beyond your lifetime.